Hi, my name is Jane Crimmins, and I'm your newly elected councilwoman on the Lewisboro Town Board.
And I'm Tony Goncalves, your newly elected councilman on the Lewisboro Town Board.
So I was compelled to run for office because I became upset about the national political scene. And I wanted to get involved. And the more I thought about how to get involved, the more that getting involved on the town board level and in the election process from the ground up seemed like a good match for me. I have been working with communities to build them for a long time in lots of different settings, and I knew I could bring those skills to Lewisboro. And it helps me to focus on building the good in community rather than focusing on what I'm upset about going on in the real world. So that is what compelled me to run for office. But then it became so much more about Lewisboro as a community and helping it to build the best community we can with all the input that we can. So we're hearing everybody's voices, and that's something I knew I could help with.
And in my case, I've always been involved in community service, having spent many years with the Lewisboro Lions Club and getting to know a lot of people in the community. I always thought about, okay, what's the logical next step? And the thought had crossed my mind, but I never seriously considered being in town government. When the opportunity came up and folks approached me, and then I had discussions with Alan Cole and several other people in the Democratic Committee. It took me about a couple of months or so to make the determination that yes, this is what I want to do, and consulted with my family, lots of friends, and they all encouraged me to do it, and this is why I'm here.
What I want to accomplish while I'm on the Lewisboro Town Board is to bring my skills, which is a different set of skills than the board has seen, to conversations that we have at the table. In executive sessions, we discuss personnel and litigation, and these are very sensitive matters. I have brought my skills of communication, mental health, child development, and child development of children with special needs to all of those conversations, and it really matters. So I wanted to bring my voice, and I have. I also wanted to get to know the departments and build strong relationships, and I have done that. My relationships with all departments and town employees is good or excellent. Those were my ideas coming in, and now that I've been on the board for 9 months, there's a lot that I want to accomplish. 2 areas I'd really like to focus on are our emergency management communications and getting real about talking about building commercial revenue here in town in a thoughtful, neighborhood-oriented way that can be successful. And so those are 2 things I would really like to work on. Some other things that along the way that I've picked up is being involved with the Parks and Rec Lewisboro Day Camp program. So I've brought my professional skills of working in pediatrics and in special needs to do some staff training for our mostly high school kiddos. And we're gonna keep focusing on that going forward, more staff development, because the program is really very strong. So now we can just add more supervisory experiences for them, which will be really good. And currently, as we speak, I'm working with our confidential secretary to the supervisor on a detailed, clear sexual harassment policy and process, not just to cover us legally, but also to talk about how we build a culture of listening and a conversation around these matters that maybe will look different and new.
So when I was running, and even prior to running, one of the things that I heard from a lot of people was that their voices weren't being heard at the town government level. So my goal was to be, and I am a good listener, and my goal was to be able to take those listening skills and be able to take back to the board issues that are brought to my attention, and even during discussions, making sure that we respond to the concerns of the residents of this town. We have a very cohesive board, so we do when it comes time to really discussing some of these issues in detail and being able to present the situation as I feel it should be presented from a resident's perspective. I feel that I'm pretty good at doing that. And so my goal is to be able to voice the opinions of the folks within the town government level. My experience with the Golden Bridge Hamlet organization, we were doing that. We were approaching the town board with different requests. Some of those requests just fell on deaf ears. And so I'd love to expand on that and be able to take some of that experience working at my local hamlet level and expand that throughout town. And I think developing the downtown areas or the hamlet central areas is something that's key to me. I think we definitely need to increase our commercial base, make sure that our businesses stay local. And that's the major thing that's on my agenda in terms of what I'd like to focus on in the next few years.
So far, I feel like I have exceeded my goals for accomplishments. There's a steep learning curve to any new job, and I feel proud whenever I do that steep learning curve, whether it was my first job as a teacher or my second job as an occupational therapist or this job now. I took on a steep learning curve, and I did it with a lot of energy and enthusiasm and forgiveness and understanding and engagement and passion. And so I feel that I've been able to exceed my expectations of the accomplishments I'd be able to make so far in terms of relationship building. And that's the first thing you have to do before you can get people to work with you to move forward. They have to trust you. You have to have their back. And I feel like I've been able to do that with the people I'm working closely with.
In terms of accomplishments over the past 9 months, we've been very busy with various initiatives. But I think the one that really stands out for me is the cell tower. This is something that has been going on for years. We have several towers throughout town in Golden's Bridge, in South Salem, and Vista. We desperately needed one in Cross River. It wasn't a topic that or the initiative in general was not well received by everybody, but there were still a lot of people that during my campaign they said we need to increase our communication capabilities in town. So I'm glad that what we did in terms of getting the cell tower initiative to where it is today. We're close. And I think that's in terms of major accomplishments over the past 9 months, I would say that's probably the one that stands out in my mind. And looking forward to increasing communications around town or communication capabilities. It's something that's critical for emergency services. It's something that's critical for the residents. And so we need to be able to have as much coverage as possible. And so this is the first step, is with getting the cell tower up in Cross River.
So this job obviously comes with a lot of interacting with the public through public forums, but also any resident can reach out to us anytime by phone or email with any concern, complaint, question, anything. And I love that part of the job. If you don't love that part of the job, you'd be in serious trouble because it's a big part of the job. Emotions can run really high, especially when we're talking about things like people's water quality or the cell tower. People are concerned about health impacts, and that's very serious. And I am able to contain a large amount of emotion. So when emotions run high, I can focus and take in the information and take in both the words that are being said, but also the intent behind them so that I can address what the concern is. For example, we did have a meeting in Oak Ridge about the water there, which is a big issue to those living in that water district. And emotions are running really high for really good reasons. And one of the things I think we need to do is have more regular communication with the residents in that water district so that when they have the one opportunity at a public forum, it doesn't feel like their only time to talk to us and it's really pressured. If we talk to them every month, every 2 months, check in, build a committee, I think it will help to ease that tension. So I absolutely love interacting with people, good and bad. I really enjoy it. I find it engaging.
I think that to be in this position, one needs to know how to work and talk with the people in the community. You're not going to make everybody happy all the time, but I am the type of person that can have conversation, not get emotional, and be able to listen to the occasional emotional outbursts and complaints and be able to take that information in. We are reachable. People can easily reach both Jane and myself. I have in many situations, I get emails all the time from folks. I have visited people individually to discuss concerns. And it's just part of the job. Unfortunately, there's not enough hours in a day, but we are here to listen to the residents of Lewisboro, and that should be part of the job. That should be we should not deny people their rights to express their concerns to us. And with my people skills, I'm going to continue doing that and be as responsive as possible. Regardless of what the issue is or whether it's a pro or con discussion.
Our experience as a whole town board has been a very positive one. We built rapport quickly with one another and were able to hit the ground running on making decisions. We are an apolitical group when we're talking about having conversations about things we need to have conversations about. We are never talking about our base or our supporters or who will or won't like the decision. We're talking about what's best for the town. We're able to have differing opinions. It's always respectful. We're able to communicate as a whole group and as a smaller group. We have made some positive changes in personnel. We hired a new building inspector and assistant building inspector, and they're both very strong. And so I look forward to those opportunities where we work together to find and hire great people, because that is the base of our community as our town employees. They work very hard for us. And so keeping them engaged and motivated is important. Also, as a whole board, what were some of the other things that I...
Yeah, in general, we're a very cohesive board. I mean, we get along well. We do have our disagreements at times, but overall, when we end the night, we always come to terms. And it shows in the fact that, after our town board meeting is completed and after we executive session, we still hang out at the town hall. Sometimes we're there till, and it has happened several times, where we're there till after midnight.
Or the Horse and Hound.
Or the Horse and Hound afterwards.
Yep.
So it's a great cohesiveness that exists within the town board. And to Jane's point, the employees of the town are terrific. We've got to know them all very well. They're all great people to work with, and
smart, hardworking.
And I'm very happy with the accomplishments and the new hires. And you mentioned the building department. These are critical parts of our town government, and I'm very happy with what's been achieved so far.
And our biggest piece of policy, I think, that we've passed has been the reusable bag initiative, where we're trying to be leaders in the conversation of cutting down on plastic bags. And we have spoken with our county legislator, who congratulated us on being leaders for that, because she's trying to do it on a county level. So the fact that we were able to do it at a local level, and now in the next couple of months before the law takes effect, we need to work closely with our businesses to make sure that they feel supported by us. And I know we'll be able to do that.
So what surprised me most about this job coming in, without having any political background or experience, is the fact that it does take a lot of time. People had said, "Oh, it's only a part-time position." Well, that is not the case. I do have a full-time job, but I do take time out of my my day job to do as much as I can when I can. And I find myself spending a lot of time at night doing work and following up on issues. So that was the most surprising point, is the amount of work that's involved. And I'm not complaining. It's terrific. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that people are reaching out to me individually and being able to respond to them, whether it's 4 p.m. in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the morning. I am there to assist them. The other thing that surprised me is getting into a government position. There's always the political tensions and potential for tensions. I have not experienced that. within this town government. So again, it goes back to the cohesiveness and the fact that we all get along and we keep politics out of our discussions.
In talking about what surprises me most, I have to say that being brand new to the political sphere and even the thought of running for an elected position, everything is coming as a surprise. And that's what I meant about the steep learning curve before. I don't want to say everything's coming as a surprise because that sounds as if I'm not prepared, and I am very prepared, but I am learning about the whole position and earning my way as I go. I am taking in everything I need to take in and doing an effective and good job at being on the town board, and at the same time picking up garbage the day after the July 4th fireworks. So I'm doing both at the same time, and I think what surprises me most, I would say, is after a warming up period, how cohesive we are, like Tony said, how cohesive we are and how the politics really doesn't matter at a local level.
So thank you very much to Henry Wolf and LCTV for bringing us both here together. Initially, the idea was for us to be interviewed separately, and we came up with the idea of doing this together. And I think it again goes back to the cohesiveness of the team and how well we get along. And,
dynamic duo.
Exactly. Yes. So we're very proud of what we're doing and what we've accomplished, and we are looking forward to continuing this over the next 3+ years. And serving the town of Lewisboro and its people. So thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you to Henry Wolf and LCTV, and those of you that are watching, thank you for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
You're watching Lewisboro Community Television, Channel 20.